Today is such a bad day. Not really a bad day, just kind of a lot of stuff happening. Almost too much stuff for me to handle. It is too much stuff for me to handle, but it's not too much for God to handle. You know what I mean? It's just a rough day. It's a rough day. I wouldn't say it's a bad day. It's just a rough day. So Paul Westfall, the man who murdered my sister and her husband, is in jail for a life sentence. He was convicted today. He was supposed to get 2 life sentences, which he did, but they combined them for whatever reason. Like he didn't take 2 lives, or anything. So they combined it, and so he will only serve 1 life sentence, pretty much. I mean, the same amount of time for 1 life sentence. What does this mean? This means that in 30 years, if he's alive, which I really don't think he's going to be, the way he looked in court, kind of tells me that he's probably not going to be around in 30 years. But if he is, my sister's 4 children, 5 children, including little Maddie, Nathan's daughter, will have to go and fight to keep this monster in prison. They shouldn't even have to have that thought in their head that they should have to do that. That shouldn't even be an option. That shouldn't even be something they should have to deal with or think about for the next 30 years or for the next however long until they get the news that he's passed away. They just shouldn't. They're children, and they shouldn't have to bear that kind of weight because of something he did. Something he chose to do. And now my nieces and my nephew will have to go through something more because of him. It's pretty upsetting. It's upsetting to see how the judicial system here on earth works. Thank God for the almighty judicial system, right? Because I have a strong feeling that God has a plan for him. He has a plan for him just as he has a plan for you and for me and for everybody else on this planet. And for whatever reason, God chose to keep him alive. God chose that sentence for him for a reason, I'm sure. I'm sure because he works in mysterious ways. And boy, have I learned that. Learned it the hard way. I've learned it the easy way. I've learned it the nonchalant way. I've learned it every way possible that God works in mysterious ways. That is not just a cliche saying. There's a reason for that saying. It is beyond true. And while I'm not very happy with the verdict, and I'm not very happy with everything else that's happened today that has piled up on top of that verdict, and I have a pimple, too, the size of freaking Mars. Well, this one's Mars and that one's Pluto. I went ahead and named them since they've taken residence upon my face. I'm really upset. Like, even with the joking, because that's just kind of my go-to. That's how I cope with things. I joke. And I laugh. And it's almost like I constantly have a nervous laugh because I deal with a lot on a daily basis that not many people my age or any age could deal with. I'm still coping with the fact that I'll never get to see my sister again. And this guy gets rolled into the courthouse and shows no remorse for the lives that he took. And then the court decides, let's just slap this family right in the face and give him like the least possible sentence that he could have. I didn't want to kill him. I didn't want him to get the death penalty. But I didn't want my nieces and my nephew to ever have to deal with him or his family ever again. Because they shouldn't have to. They did nothing to deserve that. And they did nothing at all. So why are they having to deal with it? This man should be locked away, and nobody should ever have to deal with his evilness ever again. Nobody. And damn sure not those kids, because they have been through enough. Far, far enough. And then on top of that, since I'm already crying and emotional and ranting, let me just go ahead and just the cherry on the top. I'm getting the news of this and the new and trying to process every emotion that I have. And I get a phone call from Ginger's teacher. You know, so I get a phone call from her teacher that she is being bullied by this little twerp that chose to harass her daily for like the past couple months now. This has been an ongoing issue. He is kissing her and telling her he loves her and all this other stuff. And my daughter is not okay with that. She's not okay with it. She doesn't like that type of stuff. My daughter was there when I was in an abusive relationship. She saw it firsthand. She witnessed it. She was there. And I know that affected her. She rarely tells people she loves them because a person that told her mom that they loved them all the time, a person that told her that he loved her all the time, turned on us. And she was a part of that. And she does not like that kind of affection. She doesn't like kissing. She doesn't like, I'm her mother, and when I say I love you, every now and again she'll say you too. Like, rarely does she say I love you back when I say I love you. She'll say, oh, I love you, mommy, you know, and stuff like that. But when I say I love you, Ginger, she'll say you too. With my parents, she won't say it to them. So when I got news that this little boy is saying that he loves her and he's trying to kiss her and he's telling people that she is his girlfriend, it was upsetting. Okay, well, she tried to defend herself, not in the right way, but she did try to defend herself and she got in trouble for it. This happened a couple weeks ago. Since then, since she tried defending herself, I guess it has like really taken an ugly turn. Like, he has like now a clan of kids that he has recruited to bully her. Him and all his little twerpy friends are all bullying my daughter. I don't even like to use the word bullying because they're really harassing her. And it's enough for the teacher to call with concern. And it just makes you kind of wonder, like, what is going on? That they don't see that this little boy needs to be separated from my daughter. And it is their job to protect my daughter when I'm not there. So they really should keep this little kid away from my daughter. I really don't understand what they're not getting about that. But hopefully after today, things will change. So, yeah, I'm processing every emotion and every detail of, my sister's murderer's conviction. And then I get that phone call. Because, this isn't just a conviction. 3 years and 4 months to the date, we've been waiting for them to convict this man. This man is the one that actually shot and killed my sister and her husband. My sister's husband's ex-wife wasn't the one that killed them. She was the one that plotted it. She shot Nathan in the hip, but she didn't kill them. And her sentence is worse than his. Not saying she don't deserve it. She deserves every bit that she got. I'm just saying, why? Why? Like, our judicial system. Come on, guys, why? Why is this? That's not for me to understand. All day long, I've been listening to my worship music and just trying to get through the day. Like, do you ever have those days where you're like, if I could just get through this day? That's the day I'm having. Anyway, so I've been listening to my worship music, and there's a song, and it goes, I'm not skilled to understand what God has willed and what God has planned. And that's just been playing over and over in my head. There has to be a greater scheme to everything that has happened. God. I have to do a lot of editing on this one. There has to be a grander scheme to all of this. And to why, why this had to happen. Because it's so senseless. And it's heartbreaking that it's just heartbreaking. Like, that's it. There's no other words for it. There's no other explanation to why they had to feel the need to do what they did, because there wasn't a need for that.